Now you disappeared. I'm going live. There you
I
are.
know. I just
All
getting
right.
better lighting.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. It is Dr. Joe, and Dr. Joe is right there. There you go. Dr.
Yep,
Joe and Dr. Barrett,
I'm
Vibrant
here.
Life Center. We're going to be talking about fasting today, intermittent fasting, the benefits of that. Why would one want to do it? Dr. Joe, I'm pointing him, he's right there. Dr. Joe, very good at this. He does this all the time. You see, he's very svelte, very aesthetic physique, takes care of himself
Ha-
pretty good. So I'm thinking Dr.
hadn't
Joe's going to be
haven't
the
showered
authority on
today yet
this.
though.
What's that?
I haven't showered yet today or combed my hair, so we're just kind of going with
Yeah, you kind of
it.
smell. I can smell it from here.
Yeah.
I'm in the, by the way, so we're coming to you from the office in Edina. I'm in the office from Edina. We're social distancing. How about that? We're social distancing. Um, Dr. Joe is at Dr. Joe hideout there. He's at the Dr. Joe Central at the
Yep.
Bat Cave. So anyway, Joe, Dr. Joe, you're a proponent of fasting. You've done it many times, right?
I have. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so tell me, why do you do it? Why would folks want to fast? What's the deal with fasting?
You
What do you get
know,
for that?
I think a lot of my philosophy around it is where they say, early man, so to speak, Paleolithic man, right? Um, they would go days sometimes without eating. If they had to go get their own food and or kill their food, so to speak, they wouldn't eat for days. And so those were the genetics that have been kind of evolved over time. Most people think, 3 square meals a day is the way to go, and really that just evolved, with modern agriculture. Not necessarily the case for optimal health.
I thought that was just for jail.
Yeah,
3 squares and a cup. I think that's where that
right.
came from. I don't know. I'm not so sure.
No,
So
right.
you've been doing that basically to mimic, your physiology and, the whole generations and generations and how mankind has evolved to live on the planet. And you're kind of
Yeah,
adopting a natural strategy, trying to, adopt an eating style that matches how our physiology is really designed to run
that
genetically,
is
right?
that is
Or
correct.
whatever.
Yep, and
Since
I've done,
Paleo Man, since Paleo Man or something. All right. And
that's
so
correct. That's what.
let's back up then. Let's talk if we're not doing that, like eating like hunter gatherers, and we're
Mhm.
designed to, if we're not eating like hunter gatherers, what do you think is the downside to eating like 3 meals a day? Or that, I mean, people eat more than that. If you travel in Europe, I've been in Europe and out of the country quite a bit, and they don't eat anywhere near as much as we do. If you ever go to one of them country buffets or whatever they are, Golden Corrals, any one of those things, man, the
Yeah,
pile of food on people's plate is just enormous.
right.
In other countries, just a small plate. One of the things my wife and I started adopting, we have big dinner plates. There you go, big dinner plates, but we use smaller dinner plates now because fills up the plate and you eat that food and you're good to go. But so what do you suppose? What is happening if you're just eating like, you know, normal culture eats, going to the subway for lunch and, doing whatever here every day?
Yeah.
What's the downside to
Well, what's
doing that?
happening? Well, you're not promoting health because most of the food you're eating is going to be going to be inflammatory. You're going to be probably getting too many calories, a lot of different additives and various chemicals. So all in all, it's going to be, again, it depends on where you're eating, but most likely, if you're eating the standard American diet, 3 meals a day, you are not promoting your health unless you are being proactive or educated in some form.
What you
And
mentioned inflammatory. What are people eating that's inflammatory and how?
okay, well, any standardized food that has not been raised organically or naturally, so to speak, is going to be inflammatory pretty much, and that means literally causes inflammation in your body. Um,
Makes sense.
is that
And
what you kind of
that's
asking
bad
me?
inflammation.
Yeah.
Why is that bad for folks?
Well, inflammation is a starting ground for a disease. Inflammation is involved in every disease process known to mankind. So
Give
it's
me an
just
example. Like
it's a
what disease?
baseline. Say it again. I'm sorry.
So, like, give me an
What?
example. Like what disease for the listener? They're not thinking
Oh, okay, sure. Hmm.
inflammation is the cause of their need for Excedrin or Tagamet or antihypertensives, right? They
Yeah,
just think, oh, I'm lucky and I got high blood pressure. What's
right.
the link
Um,
between inflammation and, you know, pick a disease?
well, it kind of goes
People can
deep.
understand.
I mean, there are some, it gets a little technical. It gets a little technical, but basically, you're jacking up your blood sugar, which is jacking up the insulin, and that's kind of the big link that, um, for example, cancer loves insulin, and that would be a big promoter. Inflammation is a big promoter of cancer because insulin is high, and that's what cancer loves. That's where it starts.
Hmm. So, so in
Along,
general,
yeah,
just eating how folks eat, eating kind of carby, sugary, processed, not building health, in fact, building disease. So you are guarding your health by eating more of a natural diet and taking it a step further in adopting a strategy like Paleolithic man had.
correct.
And
Yeah,
that involves not eating and then eating and not eating and eating. How long do you
right.
go before you see benefit? How long would you say is,
Yeah,
beneficial to fast? I mean, could
yeah.
I fast
I've actually.
6 hours?
Mhm. No, really scientifically they say it's got to be 16 hours, which is kind of extreme. But I would say if you can start at 12 hours, you're probably helping yourself. But
Well, six,
scientifically, where you're, go ahead.
but 16, realistically, if you eat dinner six,
Yeah,
7 o'clock and you go to bed,
mhm, right.
16 hours is lunch the next day. That's skipping breakfast.
Pretty
That's not
much.
incredibly difficult, right?
No.
So you get some benefit for that. You get some points for that. So
Okay.
that's easy. That's a good starting point. I can do that. I could do that half the time anyway, running out the door. Um, and so, but you do a couple of days, right?
I
'Cause
have. I've done.
I just did Sunday to today. Today is Tuesday, and I did
Wow.
6 p.m. Sunday till this morning. Just
Yeah.
skipped all day yesterday. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Wow. I haven't done one in a while, but I have gone 4.5 days. That's been my
Yeah.
longest one. A lot of people even go longer than that. Not a lot of people, but a lot of people in the health food world, in the health world, some do.
And does it change? So you get out to 3, 4 days. I understand that has hormone implications as well, not just blood sugar, but hormone indication or implications. Um, Growth hormone, thyroid hormone, those are positively affected as well. Did you
Yeah.
notice that much when you were getting out to 3 or 4 days? Did you feel like you had more energy then, oddly enough, for not eating?
Yeah. Actually, I would say after about the second day, you actually kind of jump up in energy, which was really odd to me. That was a very
Right.
strange
That's
revelation to
what I was
me.
trying to get out of you because I know that
Yeah.
happens. It happened to me. So,
Yeah. So yeah, you're hungry. The first 2 days are definitely the worst. Once you get beyond that 48 hours, sometimes you can manage. You go, hey, I can do another day of this.
yeah.
So, and then now you have a sense of I don't know. It's a strange type of energy. It's uplifting. So, but you're definitely hungry.
Yeah. So, and the reason you're in ketosis now and you're burning fat because your body prior to fasting is burning sugar predominantly. But if you
Yes.
just don't eat, you have to switch to burning fats or proteins. And so that's ketosis. Have you ever done the test strips, test your urine for ketone?
Yeah, they
I
have
always, I always thought, you'd be in ketosis like the next day, but it turns out it's not until 48 hours in or so that I can see byproducts. I don't know if your experience is the same.
I really think it depends on how frequently you do this. Some people go right into ketosis.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well,
no, I
normally
do.
I'm
I do the
I'm
test
starting
strips.
on a weekend after goofing off, eating pizza or whatever. My style is I eat clean all week, and on a Saturday I'll whatever go out with friends who don't know the eating rules, and I'm not their doctor. I'm not going to like rain on their
Yeah.
parade and, hey
Yeah.
man, I'm not eating your macaroni or whatever they make, so
Right.
sometimes my
Right.
Saturdays are not all that clean. So if I'm going fasting on Sunday, I'm carb loaded like I'm doing a marathon or something. So maybe that's
Hmm.
why it takes till Tuesday sometime to see the ketones in the urine. But that's an indication that you are actually finally, burning, using fats for fuel, which is what your brain uses all the time anyway.
Yes.
And then you're finally shifting over into that, changing the hormones around the leptin so you don't get so hungry all the time, and the ghrelins and those kind of concepts. It shifts your hormones around finally when you get out to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Um,
when you're burning ketones, you have more of a sustained energy. I don't know if you've ever noticed that if you stayed in ketosis for a long time. It's
yeah,
more.
it seems like, I don't know. I actually don't need as much sleep.
Yeah.
Kinda
I've
weird.
heard it compared to burning logs in the fire versus a steam engine. One is more sustained and steady, where one is going to burn up really fast, and you're always going to have to replenish it. So
Hmm.
I thought that was a good analogy.
That's yeah. For me, if I eat carbs, I get hungry again. And most people know that, like eating Chinese food and all the rice. You eat a big pile of Chinese
Uh-huh.
food and then you're hungry again an hour later, even though you just ate about 1,200 calories. Very common.
Correct.
So
Yes.
interesting. Are there any tips you want to share with people about how to get started?
Well,
How,
I think from
and
the
also,
yeah.
how do you come out of it? I know you can't just have a big celebratory Thanksgiving meal when you come out of a couple days of fasting, right?
Well, you really shouldn't. That's not helpful. But yeah, no, you want to come out of it by eating things like broth, chicken broth, non-mild vegetables. Um, you don't want to jump right into heavy meat or protein or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's gradual, and you don't want to be jumping into a big Thanksgiving meal. You want small portions, just for a day or two, and you're probably good to go.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Very good.
Yeah.
And getting started, because I know when I talk to people about this, hey, you should maybe adopt a fast for detoxing. By the way, one of the reasons it works for detoxing for the listeners is because toxins are generally fat soluble. And that's why you still have them in your body, because water soluble toxins end up going out in the urine, but fat soluble toxins, which is pesticides, insecticides, oil based things like that are in our food supply, are fat soluble, and they get stored, guess where? In your fat cells. So if you are fasting and finally lysing or breaking open the fat cells to access the energy and burn those long chain fatty acids finally, well, some toxins are liberated. And some people get a headache from that, and that's the mechanism for that. If that's what happens, if you get a headache, because you're fasting, you probably need to look at adding some detox protocols, some greens. I know we have some in both offices, greens and some activated carbon. Also very helpful in that regard if that's happening to you. But
Yeah.
any other tips about getting people started?
Well, I think getting started, you don't necessarily have to jump into that 16-hour window or 8-hour window of, well, yeah, 16. We're not eating for 16, but starting gradual. I mean, some people, it just depends on where you're at and what you're currently doing as to how simple it is going to for you to slide into it. So,
Yeah,
you
some
kind of got
people
to
are
assess
going if
that
they're
individually.
just going to bed. You're fasting while you're sleeping. You get that.
I'm
You get
sorry.
that. So it's not so hard to get to that
No.
16. If you go to bed, I
Yeah.
mean, if you eat dinner
Yep.
6, 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
get up at 7 o'clock, you're 12 hours, right?
You're right.
So you're only to lunch away to that 16 hours. So that's a pretty, I don't know. I would think anybody could do that. I don't know. Make it to lunch. And I would think, dang near everybody could make it to the following dinner. You could almost squeak a 24-hour in
Yeah.
without too much effort. But getting
It
to
is.
that, oh man, I should have ate dinner and then go to bed and then wake up tomorrow. Now, like you say, that second day is where, I can kind of feel it a little bit. So
Yeah, 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 and it is amazing, and and the thing about it is, there's no cost. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself for no cost. So,
there is that. There is that. Cool. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. That's all I got on it. There's normally we could say here, take some protein or do something like that, but
Yeah.
There's nothing about this. You're just, cleaning up your diet, let your body clear itself. Oh, one thing, I know a guy, there's a crazy story. I know a guy who did a 30-day fast, and the guy was about almost 400 pounds. And 30-day fast, not kidding. And
Wow.
he was very proud
Yeah.
that he had a bowel movement every day. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
how does that work? But but that was like, I don't know, 15 years ago. Now I understand that it's actually just probiotics are most of your bowel movement mass anyway. It's bacteria anyway. So you got a bunch of bacteria living on your junk in your guts and create new bacteria. And you know,
Yeah.
very curious. So it shouldn't be too bad in that regard if your microbiome is set up right. So that is something, by the way. Fasting, you should still take your supplements, your fish oil, and that kind of stuff. Not going to goof up your fast. Fish oil, there's nothing sugary in any of those things, and fish oil is fat. So even if you're fasting, you're going to be burning fat. So it's not going to goof you up to continue taking your omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay.
So there you
Yeah.
go. There's one
Right.
product. You keep taking your vitamins. Oh
Yeah.
yes, pandemic vitamins, not COVID, but pandemic. D,
Oh,
zinc,
yeah.
C, probiotics. What am I forgetting? I think that's it, right? Fish oil for
Vitamin.
inflammation.
You
Yeah,
said vitamin
well, that's
D.
kind
Yeah.
of the main
Yep.
theme. Um,
Yeah, I think there was an article in the Washington Post nationally just a couple days ago. It said most of the people dying from they're saying from corona are vitamin D deficient. It was like, whoa, amazing. And they said
yeah,
that.
I read that study. It was in Italy or
Wow.
somewhere in
Okay.
Europe. Somewhere in Europe, it was where that came out of. But it was a small group they had studied. So they're going, well, we can't really say you should take vitamin D. But what they're doing actually in the UK is doling out vitamin D to all the old people in the nursing homes as of this week. So
Nice.
very curious. But still here in the US, you and I can't recommend anybody take vitamin D. It is non-therapeutic, is not going to prevent or cure or treat any disease. So saith Attorney General Ellison. So that's what I know.
Yep.
So, do you have any final words? Put this
No.
one up so people can follow along. We'll point this one out. All right. Well, if you need to get a hold of us, Oakdale office 651-777-3611, and Edina office 952-835-0006. It's 952-835-0006. You can find us. You found us online. Facebook page is Facebook Vibrant Life Center, vibrantlifecenter.com. This, of course, is on YouTube, or you might get it in an email, but somewhere you'll be able to find us. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. God bless. Any final words, Dr.
Thanks.
Joe?
No, just happy to be here. Good. Thanks.
All right.
No,
Dr. Joe, Dr. Barrett out.
thank you. Bye-bye. What do I do?